Everyone, welcome to the show. So Trump's trial continued today with attorney Keith Davidson taking the stand first thing in the morning. Before I dive into the details of the testimony, though, I wanted to share the results of a poll about this whole New York trial. According to a poll, it was a PBS News, NPR, and Marist poll conducted in the first week of Trump's hush money trial that's ongoing right now. 54% of respondents said that this trial and Trump's other cases are fair and necessary to determine if he broke the law. So just over half, not good. 45% said they're unfair and it's being used to harm his campaign. And when asked if Trump committed a crime, 47% of the respondents said yes. So less than half, but a plurality. And that included 86% of Democrats, also 42% of independent voters. So not good. I would hope to see more independents. 30% of the respondents said Trump likely did something unethical, but not necessarily illegal. And only 21% said Trump did nothing wrong whatsoever. Now, among Republicans, when you look at the breakdown of how many were included in this poll, 46% said, yeah, he did something unethical, but it's not illegal. And a whole 45%, almost an equal amount, said, nope, no, he did nothing unethical, nothing illegal. He is an angel. He's perfect. Says so much about their morals, doesn't it? I mean, I guess their spouses should just assume that they're all cheating. So anyway, here's the most troubling part of this poll, at least to me. 55% said they're not paying any attention to this, maybe a little to any attention in this trial. That's not good, 55%. And then 45% said, yeah, I'm paying a little bit, to a lot attention. So not good at all that so few people are paying attention to the first criminal trial ever in history of a former president. This should be a big deal. This should be the whole country watching this, because their understanding of the case, the people who aren't paying attention, it's going to be formed by the people around them or social media posts that they just might happen to see. So it's a toss-up of what they're going to hear about it. And if you go look at right-wing media, it's like they're in a different world. They're on a different planet as far as the evidence goes. I also wanted to quickly mention that Stormy Daniels is receiving a barrage of threats from Trump's terrorists. Her bodyguard was interviewed on CNN, and he said that she is worried about this, but Daniels said there is no threat, number one, that's going to change the facts of the case or that are going to prevent her from speaking out. One threat that was partially read on air, it contained pretty graphic language from the way they described it, so it couldn't completely be repeated. But part of the message said that this person was going to abuse Daniels and her family. And, quote, "This is a death threat, and I swear to God I will murder you." So that person will be arrested soon if they haven't already. Guess who won't be free to cast a vote for Donald Trump in November? Whoops. Keep it up, MAGA. So on to today's trial. As mentioned, the prosecutor picked back up with Keith Davidson. He is the attorney who represented Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. Davidson was first asked about, or not first, but he was asked pretty early on about a text message that he sent to a National Enquirer executive on election night. And in that text, he wrote, quote, "What have we done?" So the prosecutor asked, what did you mean by that? What was that all about? And Davidson admitted, quote, "Our activities may have in some way assisted the presidential campaign of Donald Trump." Whoops. Yeah, sounds like election interference, kind of, right? The jury was also shown a text from Trump attorney Michael Cohen to Davidson. And in this text, Cohen was complaining can you believe I'm not going to be going to Washington, D.C. with Trump, after all I've done for him? And then most important was a part where Cohen was bitching that Trump wasn't even going to pay him the $130,000 back, that he wasn't going to get that money back, that he paid to Stormy Daniels to silence her. So here's the thing, though, with something like this text cuts both ways, because yes, it helps the prosecution. It helps them make the case that Cohen was doing all this on Trump's behalf. But I guarantee the defense is going to use this, and they're going to try to make the case, oh, see, Cohen was obsessed with Trump. He was working to protect Trump, but it was without Trump's knowledge. And so that's probably why Trump didn't pay him back, because, he never authorized that. They're going to spin it. So the prosecution had to bring this up, though, because they have to try to make their case, obviously, but also you don't want to give the defense a chance to say to the jury, oh, see, why didn't they tell you about this text? They're hiding details because they know that this isn't good for their case. And then another thing that was brought up, which is also a double-edged sword, is the fact that Cohen signed the agreement with Stormy Daniels on behalf of Trump. So it's not Trump's actual signature. Yes, it shows that Cohen was working on Trump's behalf and that he was given the authority to negotiate, supposedly, and even sign contracts for Trump. But again, the defense is going to say, oh, well, Trump was completely unaware. Cohen did all this behind his back. Again, he's obsessed. He wanted to go work for Trump in the White House. That was his whole point. Now, the prosecutor can say, look, this shows they wanted to shield Trump, that Trump was absolutely afraid of being tied to this. So he didn't even want his signature on that document because everyone would recognize it. So it's going to get spun in a couple different ways. And then Davidson was also asked about the fake names that were used on this agreement. So remember, it didn't say Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump. It had pseudonyms. It was like Peggy Peterson, I think, and David Dennison. And so he admitted, that was just standard practice. On deals like this, that's what you do. You use fake names because you don't ever want it to come out. So then later, the prosecutor brought up text messages sent by Cohen to Davidson when an article was eventually published about Daniels making this deal with the National Enquirer. So this all started in 2018. This was well after Trump was in the White House. He was, already the president. So Davidson confirmed that Cohen was irate, and he referred to this period of time as Cohen's, quote, pants on fire moment, because Cohen was just freaking out. He was frantically trying to quash this story. And the prosecutor asked Davidson about a denial that Cohen had drafted for Stormy Daniels to sign. So the letter said in part that Daniels denied having a romantic relationship with Trump. Very specific language. And Davidson said, he characterized this letter as being true and correct because he said Daniels didn't have a quote unquote relationship with Trump. He told the jury, quote, I believe a relationship is an ongoing interaction. So, obviously it's a reference to the fact that this was a very brief, 3-second interaction between Daniels and criminy mushroom man, Donald Trump. Anyway, at one point, Cohen scheduled an interview for Daniels to go on Fox News. And the plan was for her to go on Sean Hannity's show. She was going to deny the affair. But then a while later, Cohen texted him and said, you know what, the quote, wise men believe that the story is dying down, so there's no need for any interviews. So then Davidson talked about Cohen's additional freak out when Daniels did an interview with Jimmy Kimmel. Even Davidson, her own attorney, said that he was, quote, pissed about it. And he said that Cohen threatened to sue Daniels numerous times. He was just absolutely livid. And then the prosecutor finished up a while later, and then the cross-examination began of Keith Davidson. So Davidson admitted, yeah, I never saw Trump prior to this trial. I never had personal interaction with him. So they're going to use that to say, see, Cohen just, he was doing his own thing. He was going rogue, doing whatever. Trump had nothing to do with this. He was also asked about Playboy playmate Karen McDougal, and he said that the deal between her and the National Enquirer was her, quote, dream deal. And it became very evident right up front that what Trump's team tried to do, because there's not a lot for them to work with here. So they tried to discredit Keith Davidson. They brought up a bunch of the other sleazy deals that he made related to various celebrities, just trying to make him out to be a scumbag. And I mean, to be honest, yeah, kind of is. But following the lunch break, Davidson was given a headset. He was back on the stand. He was asked to listen to several recorded conversations, and these were between him and Michael Cohen. So I guess Michael Cohen had recorded him surreptitiously. He was not aware that his conversations with Cohen were recorded. I don't know why they had to use the headset if the jury wasn't allowed to hear the recordings. That's very possible. But anyway, the prosecutor later read a quote from one of these recordings. And in this recording, Davidson told Cohen, quote, "If he loses this election, we all lose all fucking leverage. This case is worth zero." Now, I'm surprised that the defense brought this up, because to me, it shows the hush money had everything to do with the election and nothing to do with Melania or Trump's family finding out about Stormy Daniels, right? Because if it was about his family, his wife finding out, it wouldn't matter whether he won or lost the election. He wouldn't want them to find out. But I believe the defense is trying to build the case that, Davidson was involved in some sort of conspiracy with Cohen. They were just trying to shake Trump down. Obviously, that's ridiculous. If you look at the totality of the evidence that they've shown, it is very clear. Cohen was desperate to keep Trump's affairs hidden and to stop Stormy Daniels from talking about their one-night stand after the deal closed, even. So, he was obviously on Trump's side. And then when Davidson was done on the stand, the prosecution called a man named Doug Dowse. He works with the New York District Attorney's Office. He does technology analysis, and he was questioned about his review of Michael Cohen's devices related to this case. Basically, they just brought him up to verify the authenticity of text messages that were sent from Cohen to other people, or, and vice versa. People like Hope Hicks, who will soon be testifying in this case in the very near future. So that was today. That's where we left it. Another damning witness for Trump, seemingly, but again, you have to tie him to it. So the recording that Cohen made of Trump specifically talking with him about the deal, and alluding to, what's his name from the National Enquirer, that is where you're going to tie Trump the most to this case and prove that, yes, he had knowledge, he knew what was going on, he sanctioned it, he wanted it done, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, you had David Pecker's testimony of his direct conversations with Trump, too. So, they're just building the house. They did the foundation, they're building the walls, and, Hope Hicks was in on some of these meetings. So she's going to offer more of that to fortify the walls of this case. So I will let you know tomorrow what happens. So thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video, share it, become a subscriber, become a donor if you can, or click on the super thanks or leave a tip, or depending on what platform you're on. Truly appreciate it. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.